Alrighty, guys, we are now 4-0 in our last 4 NBA tier package bets on my website. And I'll include a link for today's NBA tier package bet for you in the description section below. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video here today for Monday, November 21st, 2022. As always, my name is Brock Page, and I've been doing sports picks for free right here on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free picks on this video that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for my NBA tier package bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, guys, I'm 4-0 my last 4 NBA tier package bets on that site. And just another friendly reminder here, guys, if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to that membership for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus here, you're also going to get access to all my cheaper memberships on that site absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. Now, I currently have over 625 members who are signed up and active on that page right now. And guys, if you're watching this for free on YouTube, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and connect with me on a daily basis. And if you do end up liking this video, please feel free to hit that like button, smash that thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. And with that, excuse me. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. Magic, Pacers, 7 o'clock East. Indiana 7. Totals 226.5. The Red Hot Pacers won their last 4 straight, and they went a staggering 9-1 against the spread in their last 10. Now, no real shocker here, guys. These guys have been great with the ball in their hands. They're in the top 5 in scoring, and they're one of the better offensive rebounding teams at home in the East. Miles Turner's grabbing nearly double-digit rebounds a game. He's also averaging 18 points a night, and speaking of points, Tyrese Halliburton's getting 20 a game, and he also makes over 40% of his three-pointers. Now, they're facing a banged-up Orlando team who already struggles to score on the road. These guys are dead last in the NBA in road scoring per contest. They're also going to have to go to work against these guys without leading scorer Paolo Banchero. The youngster is going to be out for a few weeks with an ankle. Now, injury-wise, Gary Harris, Mo Wagner, Wendell Carter, and Cole Anthony, they're all listed as questionable for the Magic. When it comes to the total, Orlando somehow went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Pacers saw 6 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Pacers -7 over 226.5. Next matchup, Hawks, Cavaliers, 7 o'clock East. Cleveland's the 2-point favorite, totals 224. Now, the Cavs won their last 2 straight, and they've done a real nice job covering the number at home this year. These guys are 6-1 against the spread at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. When it comes to offensive production, not many teams are shooting better from 3 land than Cleveland. These guys are in the top 3 in offensive 3-point percentage. Now, leading scorer Donovan Mitchell, he's shooting nearly 41% from beyond the arc. He's also scoring over 29.5 points a night. Darius Garland, he's right behind him with 23 points a game himself and 43% shooting from 3 land. Now, they're facing an Atlanta squad on the other side who failed to cover in 4 out of their last 7. And those games, they actually failed to cover in 4 out of their last 7 on the road. They went 4-3. They went 3-4 against the spread in their last 7 away from home. Now, they're also having a tough time grabbing defensive boards. These guys are in the bottom 5 in the league in defensive rebounding per contest. Now, injury-wise, Bogey's still out indefinitely with that knee injury. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, Wade and Love are questionable for them. When it comes to the total, Cleveland saw 5 out of their last 7 at home get over the number. Meanwhile, Atlanta went 6-1 at the over in their last 7 on the road. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland -2 over 224. Next ball game, Heat, Timberwolves, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Minnesota's the 8-point favorite, totals 218. Now, I do hate backing Minnesota here. They're one of the worst covering teams in the game right now. Having said all that, though, they did win their last 3 straight. And their opponents here tonight, Miami, they're really banged up right now themselves. Hero and Oladipo, they're still out. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem, they're also listed as questionable. Now, as a team, the Heat lost their last 3 straight, and they failed to cover in 7 out of their last 9. And in these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings with each other, the Heat got the W only 2 times. Now they're facing a Minnesota squad who has little issue getting to the basket. Minnesota's in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage, and they're led by Karl-Anthony Towns, who's making over 51% of his shots from the field. Now, Towns is also second on the team in points with 21 a game. And speaking of scoring, Anthony Edwards leads the roster right now in points per game with 22 a night. Now, when it comes to defensive play in this one, the T-Wolves are really tough to drive to the lane against. These guys actually have one of the lower defensive field goal percentages in the Western Conference. When it comes to the injury report, the T-Wolves are exceptionally healthy right now. Meanwhile, for come on, spit it out. Miami, other side, Haslem, Butler, questionable. Oladipo, Hero, out. Total-wise, oddly enough, 5 out of Miami's last 7 did get over the number. Meanwhile, Minnesota went 5-2 to the over in their last 7 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota -8 over 218. Next ballgame, Warriors, Pelicans, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. New Orleans is -6, totals 230.5. Now the Pels may have to go to work here tonight without Zion Williamson. He's officially day-to-day with an ankle injury. And that's certainly bad news because the Pels are already in the bottom 3 in the league in home offensive rebounding. They're facing a Golden State team on the other side who has little issue getting on the scoreboard. These guys are in the top 5 in scoring, and they're led by Steph Curry, who's dropping over 32 points a game. And no real shocker here, guys. Curry's making nearly 45% of his three-pointers. And, of course, Andrew Wiggins, he's also a threat to shoot the long ball himself. Wiggs is making well over 41% of his three-pointers. He's also second on the roster in scoring. Now, injury-wise, Golden State is mostly healthy right now for the exception of Andre Iguodala. Meanwhile, for the Pelicans on the other side, once again, Zion Williamson, he is listed as questionable. Murphy and Liddell are also day-to-day. And when it comes to the total, New Orleans saw overs recently against the likes of the Bulls, Pacers, and Hawks. Meanwhile, Golden State 6-3 to the over away from home this year. I'm going to lean toward Golden State +6 over 230.5. Next ball game, Blazers at the Bucks, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Milwaukee's -9.5, totals 216. And even though the Bucks have hit a bit of a rough patch here, they've been real tough to beat at home. These guys are 8-1 straight up at the Fiserv Forum, and they covered in 78% of those matchups. Now, when it comes to rebounding the basketball, not many teams are doing it better than Milwaukee. These guys are currently in the top 10 in home defensive boards, and they're also leading the entire NBA right now in offensive rebounding as well. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's averaging 12 rebounds a game. He's also scoring 29.5 points. Bobby Portis, he's also getting double-digit rebounds a game himself. They're facing a Portland squad on the other side who will probably go to work without Dame Lillard. He's officially doubtful with a calf injury. Meanwhile, as a team, the Blazers lost 3 out of their last 4, and they're having a pretty tough time scoring in their travels this year. These guys are currently in the bottom 3 in road points per contest. Now, injury-wise, Payton and Johnson are questionable for Portland. Meanwhile, Matthews and Ingles are questionable for Milwaukee. And when it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee went 80% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Portland's 6-2 to the under in their last 8 away from home. I'm going to lean toward Milwaukee -9.5, under 216. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Knicks at the Thunder, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Oklahoma City's the 2-point favorite at home, totals 230.5. And even though they are favored at home here, the Thunder, they haven't been great on defense. They're currently dead last in defensive rebounds. They're also allowing 117 points a night. Now they're facing a New York squad who plays some pretty tough defense on the road. As a matter of fact, they have the lowest defensive field goal percentage on the road in the NBA. And when it comes to offensive production, Julius Randle scoring 20.5 points a game, and he's also averaging 8 boards. Now, Jalen Brunson, he's second on the team in scoring with 20 a game himself. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, New York's one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the game. They're in the top 3 in road offensive boards. Now, injury-wise, Cam Reddish, he's officially listed as questionable for New York here tonight. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma City, Baisley, Joe, Pokusevski, and Mann, they're all listed as questionable for them. When it comes to the total, OKC saw their last 6 straight all get over the number. They're also 69% to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Knicks +2 over 230.5. Next contest, it is going to be Celtics at the Bulls, 8 o'clock East. Boston's -6 on the road, totals 227. Now, the Red Hot Celtics won their last 9 straight, and they currently have the best record in the league. And no real shock here, guys. The Celtics currently lead the association in scoring and home free throw shooting. Jason Tatum's knocking down 87% of his foul shots. And, of course, he's also the team's leading scorer with over 30 points a game. Jaylen Brown is right behind him with 25 points a night himself. When it comes to shooting the 3 ball as a team, the Celtics are currently in the top 3 in the NBA in road 3-point shooting. Now, they're facing a Chicago club who lost 6 out of their last 7. They certainly struggle on defense. The Bulls are currently in the bottom 10 in guarding the 3 ball, and they have one of the higher defensive field goal percentages in the entire NBA. Or not the entire NBA. They have one of the higher defensive field goal percentages in the Eastern Conference. Now, injury-wise, Lonzo Ball is still out indefinitely with that knee. Meanwhile, for Boston, Marcus Smart is questionable with an ankle. When it comes to the total, oddly enough, 6 out of Boston's last 9 road games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, Chicago went 7-2 to the under in their last 9 at the United Center. I'm going to lean toward Boston -6, under 227. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Jazz at the Clippers, 10:30 Eastern start time. The LA Clippers are -3.5, totals 222. But despite being favored at home here, the Clippers are just 3-6 against the spread in the Crypto Center, and they're scoring fewer points a game at home than any other team in the game. These guys are mustering up just 102 points per contest in front of their own fans. They're also facing a Utah squad who plays some pretty tough defense in certain areas, and they definitely do a nice job guarding the three-pointer. These guys are currently in the top 3 in the league in defensive three-point percentage. When it comes to offensive production, Lauri Markkanen's averaging over 22 points a night, along with 8 boards. Now, Malik Beasley, he's also drilling over 43% of his shots from beyond the arc. And for those who don't already know, Utah's currently in the top 3 in the league in offensive points per game. Now, injury-wise, Rudy Gay is out. Mike Conley is questionable. Meanwhile, for the Clippers, Paul George and Luke Kennard are listed as questionable for them. When it comes to the total in this one, LA's gone 8-1 to the under on their own court. They're also 14-3 to the under at any location. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Utah saw unders recently with the likes of the Knicks, Bulls, and this very Clipper team. I'm going to lean toward Utah +3.5, under 222. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our shout-out of the day. Haven't done that in about a year, so let's go ahead and bring it back. Julius Caesar, he said in the comment section the other day, the early bird, get the worms. My friend Big Marv Vlog said, Noti Gang. And last but not least, D. Wilo said, there's no way you expect people to watch the video and remember everything. Of course, that's a great point, D. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. So great point, great comments there, guys. Keep those comments coming, and maybe one day you will be in these shout-outs. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.